6.1, Day 2, Exponential Growth and Decay. We're looking at example 4, rewriting an exponential function. So we have this problem here. The amount y in grams of the radioactive isotope chromium-51 remaining after t days is y equals a times 0.5 raised to the t over 28, where a is the initial amount in grams. What percent of the chromium-51 decays each day? So we know it's decaying, so we're looking at y equals a times 1 minus r raised to the t. And then remember this 1 minus r, thinking back to our basic exponential function, y equals a times b raised to the x. So let's rewrite the original function first of all, this here. So it's y equals a times 0.5 t over 28. So it's better to write it like this. This is how they write it in the book, but really write it in this form here. Then we're going to use not necessarily the reverse power of a power property, it's just the power of a power property, and that breaks apart the given rational exponent. So this is what I mean. So we want to be able to evaluate what we have. So to do that, we can say y equals a, and then 0.5, let's separate it out, and then raise to the 1 over 28, and then raise to the t. So remember, we could separate, so just on a note, t over 28, another way to rewrite it is 1 over 28 times t. So all we're doing is we're taking this 128 and putting it with our number here, with the base, and so that way we can evaluate that, and we can do that with a calculator. So from what we did yesterday, we have to set what's in here equal to this 1 minus r. We're trying to find the percent that it decays each day. So we're looking for r. So that is our goal. What is r? And so r is from here. So what we have to do is we need to evaluate what's in here first before we can figure it out. So we can evaluate 0.51 over 28 with a calculator. So in order to plug it in, so let me give you the calculator directions. You type in 0.5 and then the exponent button, and so depending on which calculator you're using, it's either like a caret or it could be a y to the x button. Then you press parentheses 1, the number 1 up here, divided by 28, and then close parentheses, and then equals. And then that should get you the answer. And so when you do that, it is approximately 0.9755. So let's rewrite that. We evaluated the new power by using our calculator. And then you're going to rewrite the equation with what we have here. So we have y equals a times 0.9755, and that's raised to the t. So we saw this yesterday, or in the previous lesson, where we have 0.9, we have a number inside here and raised to the t, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and evaluate so we can find r. So we set this equal 0.955 equal to the 1 minus r. So there's just more steps to this, but just adding on what we did in the previous lesson. And so in order to solve for r, we're gonna subtract by 1, and then when you do that, you can use your calculator, and when you do that, you notice you have negative 0.0245 equals negative r. But remember, it's a negative r, you're going to divide by a negative or multiply by a negative to make that r positive. So therefore, r equals 0.0245. Now we found r, but it's asking for percent. So remember, how do we find percent? We find percent by multiplying by 100. So when you multiply by 100 or move the decimal place over 2 times to the right, we find that the percent that it decays is about 2.45% each day. Okay, so just, a couple steps in having to do this. And so why don't you get some practice? Try this out. So first what you want to do is rewrite this equation, separating out the 1 over 13, the nth root there, and then evaluate it and find r, and then make sure to get the percent. All right, if you try this out, You, first of all, separate the nth root, so 0.5 raised to the 1 over 13. Then you use the calculator, so plugging it in, you would plug in 0.5, and then the exponent, parentheses, 1 divided by 13, close parentheses and equal. Then you would get approximately 0.9481. Then with this, we need to find out what r is, so you set it equal to 1 minus r. Then solve for r, subtract by 1. And then so you get negative 0.0519 equals negative r. And then just change it to a positive because you divide by a negative. So r equals 0.0519. Multiply by 100 and you see that the percent is 5.19%, or about 5.2%.